Well, I bought some molds and I'm going to be making some miniatures by pouring porcelain. So, this is what the molds look like, and I can't wait to show you how much fun this was. Real learning curve to it, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, this is a little tea service here. So, can't wait to show you how this went. So I have to be honest with you. I have poured ceramics before, but nothing in miniature at all. And I have a friend, Anne, who's an absolute ceramic genius. She's owned her own ceramics business for over 40 years, and we've been friends more than that, longer than that even. And so she helped me do my first pour just to kind of give me a little heads up on how to do it. But again, there's a learning curve because this is porcelain, it's not just regular ceramic slip. So when we started on these first three molds, we used a syringe so that we wouldn't get any air bubbles in our pieces. And then when we were doing these first four molds, it soon became pretty apparent that we had the slip way thicker than what we should have had. So, it's trial and error. And I mean, it's like it doesn't matter that some of these pieces were ruined because we're going to let the molds dry out for a week or so and then we can just like re-pour them. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. So, and of course, there's such a tiny bit of porcelain that will be wasted. It's really no big deal. So what we did is we just filled them up. And then normally, if you were doing just regular ceramics, you'd let them sit for a little bit and then dump them. But it soon became apparent that that's really not what we should have done. We should have dumped them right away. But it's trial and error. So you can see here, you turn it upside down. I've got a little dish rack and I'm just kind of Anne's actually dumping them into this little container here. Now, if you don't turn it around quick enough, then the little pieces will be too thick. And that's exactly what happened. Like they barely wanted to empty. You can see like nothing is happening in some of them. But that's okay. I mean, I'll go back to the drawing board in a week and try it again. So these are the first four. And so I did pour 10 molds in total. And Anne's just sitting here. We're at her house. And she's just opening one of the first molds just to see what it looks like. And she's just giving it a good little tap. And there you go. So that mold should have been a couple of cookie jars and a little Santa mug, but it's way too thick. But that's okay. We'll just work with it, and the next time we know better to do it a little bit thinner. So the little puppy dog in the background turned out, but the piggy bank didn't. So there you go. So you can see here that was supposed to be a cookie jar, but it's like just way too thick. But back to the drawing board. So we added some more distilled water to our slip, and then we poured the other six molds using a much thinner slip, and it seemed to work a lot better. So after they've been dumped and they sat upside down, draining, then you have to kind of take a tool, and I'm using, or Anne's using a little plastic tool to take a little bit out of the top of the mold before you pop it. It just makes it a little bit easier to pop the mold open. So you can see here she's just kind of carving out that little part. Now, you don't want to jab a tool too far into the mold because you don't want to destroy the actual mold itself. But where the pouring holes are, it's good to clear those little areas. So the clay is now kind of leather hard. And you can see she's just kind of digging that little bit out, which will make it a little bit easier to pop the mold. So I'm not quite sure what's in this one mold. I think this one might be a little tea service, but we'll see as soon as we get her opened. So yeah, so the molds that I bought, I got a piggy bank, I got five tea services, I got some Christmas ornaments and Christmas trees, and I got a little puppy dog, and I got a little baby doll. Well, actually, I have two doll molds, but the one place I got the little baby that you'll see later on in the video. So I got them from a miniature club fellow member, Tina. She's got a lot of doll molds, just beautiful, beautiful doll molds. But I think I'm just a little bit more interested in the dishes. But I build mostly in 124 scale, and all the doll molds are 112. So not as big an interest to me now. If they were 124 scale, I think I would have been all over that. So you can see Anne has just cleared all the holes, and then we will open this mold and see what we get. So you can see she's just taking the plastic off of it, and there you go. So there's the tea set. I think that's the one that we showed you originally at the very beginning. So you can see here we've got a little teapot and cream and sugar and a little lid. And then on the other side, on the other side of the mold, there's one other piece. So that's basically what it looks like when it comes out of the mold. So you pop it out of the mold while it's still kind of leather hard. And if it doesn't want to come right away, you can just let it air dry and let it you don't want to force it because it's still quite wet. And if you force it, they'll just break apart. So Anne's just kind of popping them out. These ones popped out really quite easily. And then what I'll do is I will just take an X-Acto knife and cut the excess clay that's not part of the pot off of it. So there you go. There's some little pieces of porcelain. A porcelain tea service. Our first one. Yay! So this one here, I've gone ahead and I've cut the top part out, the pouring holes, and now I'm opening this mold. So this is me now opening a mold. So I'm just giving it a little bit of a wiggle and popping it open, and there you go. There's a little doll. So you can see here the bottom half of the body is broken off, but I'm going to repair that with some porcelain slip, and you won't even be able to tell that it was repaired. And I'm just going to have to let these little pieces dry. I don't want to force them. If I force them, then definitely they will break. So there you go. So here's Anne giving it a tap to see which pieces are going to fall out into her hand. It looks like we got a little leg, but it's going to take a little bit of time before it dries. So we're just going to put it kind of off to the side, and we'll be able to pop them in a little bit. So yeah, so I mean, as they say, it's trial and error, and as you do it, the more you do it, the more you'll get used to popping them out. So now I'm at home. These are what the pieces look like before I actually clean them. So you have to clean the mold lines off of them. And yeah, that's kind of what they look like. So I can't wait to actually see what these look like fired. So, I mean, they are a little bit on the thick side, but as they say, practice makes perfect. So I'm going to have to spend some time cleaning them and making them all ready. So there's the little doll that you seen earlier. So I can't wait to see what these look like when they're finished up. So they're so cute. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to fire these and see the finished product. So I'm really happy with them. I love this little mouse. It's so cute. So I would say that definitely pouring molds is a little bit more complex for me, anyways, than doing the work on the wheel. But yeah, time will tell. I mean, the more I practice at it, the better I will get. So I would say only about 50% of the stuff that I poured actually turned out. So I really like this little teapot. This is my favorite of all of the teapots. So I thought that that was really cute. Now, if you look at the size of this, after it's fired, it's going to be about 30% smaller. So, and then this little ceramic Christmas tree or porcelain Christmas tree, I poked holes in it with a sewing needle so that I can light it up from inside and then use some little seed beads so it'll light up and have colors all over it. And oh, this little puppy, he's so cute. Definitely 1/12 scale, but he's going to be really sweet when he's done. You can see on the right the little holes that I put in the Christmas tree. So, yeah, so I'm quite thrilled. You can see here the detail that's like the little Santa Claus. I think he is just so darling, like just really, really minute. Now, can you imagine that's going to be 30% smaller than what you see there because that's just in greenware. So when you fire them, they shrink. And that's the little angel, and that's another little Santa Claus. And you can see here in the middle of the screen, I've now taken underglaze, which is a paint that you paint right on your, see, there it is. Those are underglaze. They're on a wet pan. So it's like a wet box that keeps the paints wet, and it works only on water-based paints. So these paints that I've painted the dishes with is called underglaze, and you paint it on the ceramic pieces or porcelain pieces, or even the stuff that I do on the pottery wheel. You paint it on before the first firing. And then when you fire it, those colors become really super brilliant. And then when you go for the second firing, you just use a clear glaze on it. And that's how it works. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Dobo. I'd like to thank everyone that has helped to support my channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. It really means more to me than you could possibly realize. It does help this channel stay afloat. And I'd like to thank you very much for watching today. I can't wait to see what this stuff looks like, honestly, when it comes out of the kiln, because it's completely different and it's the very first time I've ever worked in porcelain. So I'm just so curious about it. Well, please subscribe, hit that like button, and tell your friends about my channel. And once again, have the best day ever.